Why did that teacher get fired from your school? Kidnapped a kid and drove him to another state. Was arrested after police tracked him down and found him in a motel room. His name was Mr. Love. I want to die and be reborn with that name. Plot twist. Predestiny is real, and you're reborn as the above mentioned Mr. Love. I was in 7th grade and our literature teacher showed us Romeo and Juliet, the Olivia Hussey version. There is brief, harmless nudity. But some parents freaked the peep out. Claimed the guy was pushing pornography on us. Drama ensued, protests were initiated, and Mr. C was fired. We watched Clash of the Titans the original in HS Latin, and there's a brief nude scene that shows the love interest's ass as she walks out of the bath. My Latin teacher proceeded to go, "Oh man, I wasn't paying attention," and rewound the scene. He did this like 2 or 3 times. We had to get permission slips to watch that in my freshman year English class. She taught German and went on the sophomores field trip to the Holocaust Museum. While there, the class got to hear a Holocaust survivor tell their story. Teacher stood up at this point and proceeded to tell the survivor why the Holocaust was actually a hoax and never happened. She went to the museum for a reason. It was part of a master plan. He went hunting the day before, left his shotgun in the backseat of his car, forgot about it. Security guard saw it there during school and called the cops. It was legally okay, but he got fired anyway. That's stupid. Worst part is that it's gonna be tough finding another job teaching because of that. Sir, we can't hire you. Why not? You had a firearm in a legal area with permits to own them, with no intent to use outside of hunting. He's a monster. Not a teacher, but a cop at our school was fired from being the school cop. He kept his actual police job for accepting sex from minors instead of giving them an MIP. Insane how he was able to keep his job. WTF. That should have seen him on criminal charges. Not keeping his job FFS. How is sex with a minor not grounds for termination? How is being a police officer grounds for not being in jail for sex with minors? Chemistry teacher got into a heated argument with the principal over funding cuts. It escalated to the point where the teacher went to his car, pulled out the infant car seat in the back, thankfully empty, and used it to smash the principal's car windows. Plot twist. Not empty. Art teacher was out one day, and his class was being taught by a sub. It happened to be a day when the students were working on their computer art projects, so all the sub had to do was supervise the work. One student needed to save his work and was missing a disk. This was in the days of 3 5-inch floppies. He found one just laying around and asked the sub if he could use it. Sub agreed. Student plugged it into the computer. They found out it was the disk where the regular teacher was keeping his porn stash. The teacher was fired when he came back the next day. Yeah man, you can't mix business and pleasure that way. Keep that speep at home. Or at least take it with you. He called a girl a whore. She was 13. He left so fast that he didn't clear out his desk. And that's how I have a key to the school. And that's how I have a key to the school. All about those silver linings. We had a study hall teacher that was super chill. Everyone loved her. She always let us listen to our iPods, even though it was against school policy. One day these 2 dudes were busted by her doing a deal on some pot. These 2 had a record and would have been arrested and tried as adults. Since they were both 18, we were in our last year of school. Rather than report it, she decided to throw it away and not make a deal of it. Done and over. Welp, turns out the school bitch that no one liked saw the whole thing. Bitch reported it, got the study hall teacher fired. The entire school went on strike and wore shirts to support getting her hired. It didn't happen, but we peeping tried. Like 2 hours before summer break, my friend got caught with weed in his contact lens cases. The teacher and disciplinarian, don't know what to call him, just looked at each other and agreed that my friend was keeping pencil shavings in his contact lens case. Lucky. We had a one-armed teacher in junior high. 8th 9th grade. I think he taught shop. Anyway, he was on the elderly side, mid to late 50s - early 60s. One day in between class, this prick jumps on his back and starts screaming and flailing around. I guess the kid thought it was funny. Well, the teacher didn't. He threw the kid off his back and pinned him against the lockers with his only arm until some other teachers came over. Well, he was fired for assaulting a student. Needless to say, that kid was a pariah for the rest of the time at that school. I'm sorry, gotta say it, but of course the one-armed teacher taught shop. Teacher didn't get fired, but we never saw him again. In about 1st grade, a bunch of the dads were sitting around on a Saturday, drinking beer in one of the backyards. Kids got to talking about the new gym teacher who liked to pick up the little girls and turn them upside down, especially if they were wearing dresses. He'd have his favorites help get the mats out of the storeroom, and sometimes it took a really long time. One of the girls there was the gym teacher's absolute favorite, and her dad got really quiet and then took her inside the house for about 20 minutes. Kids kept playing. Dad stopped drinking. He came out and said to the others, "Let's go." This was a small town on the Great Plains, and these men had known each other all their lives. They went. The story I heard later was that they went over to the gym teacher's place and scared the speep out of him. Told him to get in his car and start driving, and never come back. The guy left all his stuff and everything, and no one ever heard from him again. I was an adult before I realized what really happened. Left all his stuff and everything. That sounds like something a murdered person would do. Huh. Oh yeah. We just scared him real good, honey. I don't think he'll be back. Just got in his car and left. Haha. Crazy, right? Murderous dad. Edit. A word. 1 banged a student. 2 sold weed to students. 3 liked crack. Did anyone ever blackmail him for a passing grade? Different teachers. As far as I know, I don't think they were blackmailed. It was a math teacher in my high school. She was having an affair with one of the health teachers. All the students knew, but faculty did not until one night. Apparently she and the health teacher decided to meet at our local Walmart. They used his car to go up on the train tracks and parked to start messing around. A train came and hit the vehicle. That's how everything came out, and our small town was shaken up from the reveals. Who the hell parks on train tracks? I'm sorry, but that terrifies the crap out of me. Screw the affair. My ass would be out of that car postest. Sad part is everyone knew those tracks were used regularly. Watches can be set by the train's schedule. Was there a period that the trains came once an hour or less? Like maybe when there isn't rush hour traffic? They might have thought it was a slow time. There are some tracks several blocks from where I used to work. I worked there 4 years and only see a train a few times in my way home. Like maybe it was running late. I always thought the tracks were inactive. I was always cautious though, until I saw a train going by one day. Art teacher had about a week until retirement. Some students called another student gay. He told her about it, and she replied, "Well, you are kinda gay sometimes." She was a nice lady, and they let her retire peacefully, but they were around the ropes about firing her. Gym teacher in high school arrested for sending/receiving nudes. He was a creep. I was shown multiple messages from him that he sent to my friends. Peeping disgusting human being. Edit. Story about gym teacher if interested. I swear every gym teacher is a diddler. My poor gym teacher was a sweet old tiny man. He had to give us actual tests about gym, you know, like name the 4 strokes of tennis. I sure hope he enjoyed our smart ass answers. Up, down, finish. My freshman year religion teacher was fired because his son failed a school drug test and had gotten divorced. Dude was an amazing teacher, especially when talking about art history. It's sad that your teacher fired for something his kid did. My mom and my dad were both fired from working at a school and church, respectively, because their pastor decided me and my siblings weren't Christian enough. Edit. Thanks for the sympathetic replies. I just want to take a moment and talk about how incredible my dad is, and how crazy it is that he still has a fairly positive outlook on life and Christianity despite everything. He was even diagnosed with Parkinson's last year. Of all the unfair things to happen to him, it makes me want to cry at how cruel the world can be to someone so good and kind as my father. Anyway, take a moment to tell your parents you love them and appreciate them. From a Christian standpoint, this is incredibly stupid. Hey, I just had a great idea. You know how we are called to share the word of God and to help our fellow man in any way we can. Forget that. Let's focus on potentially ruining the life of a family because of our perceived understanding of the children's beliefs. 8th grade history teacher was discovered to be having an affair with one of his former students. The affair started when she was 14 and wasn't discovered until she was 18. Somehow or another he was asked if he thought it was appropriate to have this relationship. He responded something to the effect of, if this were biblical times I would've married her by now. History teacher. He used to wear a cape to class. We all called him Batman. He did so much weird speep, like eating chalk, jumping on empty boxes, and standing on his desk. I think he was finally fired for walking around on top of the students' desks. We were in a big U formation, and kicking a boy in the chest for breathing too loud. He was just eating the chalk to settle his stomach. He needs Tums to draw on the board with. I had a chemistry teacher that called me out in the middle of class for putting a hex on his family. This guy literally blamed me for his kids getting sick and having to go to the hospital. He did this in front of the entire class. I told the assistant principal, and the next semester he was fired. That's silly. Dwarves can't be witch doctors.